So let's continue. We're holding by the end of the Maamar. Where he answered the question, why the h'tשכ is dafke dvar yom b'yomai. He had asked specifically that since the h'tשכ is l'mayla mishtalshalus l'mayla mizman, the root of the man is higher than ishtalshalus, pnimius hatainug, so then why is it limited to very, very limited to specific days? The answer, the easiest, the words of the Maamar were that when a h'tשכ is drawn down as a result of our avodah, so if that is the model, then taka, a person can be mamshich an inyan that lasts for several periods. It can be integrated, and all of the taking into account, as it were, all of the components of ishtalshalus, because that's where his avodah takes place. He brings it into his world based on his avodah, and some deals last for a long time, some deals the prophet's only for one day. It all depends. But here, since the whole h'tשכ is rusa de le'ela mitzad atzma, it's a gift, and not totally at all on the matzav of the makabel of us. So therefore, since it's not totally on our matzav, so it's like Achaz B'Shana Yom Kippur. It just comes down each day as it's nimshach. That's a whole h'tשכ right there. In the words that we explained it earlier, the inyan is that Hashem is saying that your worthiness is not mitzad your worthiness. It's because I want you. And if it's mitzad your worthiness, so therefore it's a whole seder of your worthiness, and there's a lot of components to you, and some parts are more important and some parts are less important. The body has disparate limbs. Some are more critical, less critical. That's mitzad the mata, that's mitzad ishtalshalus. But mitzad l'mayla mamish, the Eibishter, so every detail is everything. You are everything not because of a maila, but because I want you. And because it's I want you, therefore it's not dependent on, and there's no, what does not come into the picture is the interplay of one day and the next day, which is ishtalshalus, the integration of ishtalshalus. Again, in simple language, Hashem's desire for us is not because we have earned it, not because, in the words of the Maamar, Avodas HaBirurim, we've elevated the world. There are big in Nitzutz Kedusha, there are small in Nitzutz Kedusha, there's the Raisa, there's the Rabbanon, there's big moments, there's small moments. The house has all kinds of components. Not every detail by a long shot is equal. Some are very critical and some are extraneous. But mitzad, that's all mitzad the mata, that's all mitzad the binyan, mitzad the avodah, mitzad the rusa the tata. We go through all kinds of stages in life. All of these differences, and one complements the other and builds on the other. But mitzad, the essential bchira, it's not dependent on any of this. You are precious to me. I want to be part of your life, and in essence, every part of your life is everything. It's not unlike the Baal Shem Tov's teaching. A neshama can come down the Mata and live 70, 80 years, wants to do a favor. A favor, Baruchnius, Begashmius, and Bekolishkin Baruchnius. What's that favor? It doesn't even say. Not necessarily even life-saving. A toiva. If the person didn't get the toiva, life would go on for him. And even for this small detail, it's worth the neshama coming down the mata. That's because of the nisava. That's because Hashem's desire for us is such that every part of our lives for Him is everything. That's the chud of the beer. Now continuing in Ois Vav. Final Ois. Now the question, one of this is going to answer, the Maamar, by the way, is not complete. And I need to look up the other sources of Mistamba. The answer is answered beprotius. Perhaps. But I'll call upon him. What he's coming to answer now is the question that why is it dafka the mon? This speaks Parsha by you, mind you. Parshas Ekev, right? So why is it dafka the mon that the mon teaches us kelei alechem lavada yichi adam yal kol mitzi pi Hashem yichi adam? Why can't we learn that from lechem in the Oretz? This is also lechem. It's also bread. So why can't that lesson be conveyed from lechem in the Oretz? Dafka lechem min hashamayim. In other words, it seems the question is if he gave us something else entirely, okay, so not lechem, other things, but he was giving us lechem. But no, only lechem and the Shemayim can teach you that lesson. Lechem and the Oretz cannot. Why not? Maybe he's asking also if Hashem would have provided in the desert miraculously lechem in the Oretz. Also teach the same lesson. Whatever, like the quails, like the slav were blown. Bread will be blown from who knows where. So lechem in the Oretz, and they wish to provide. Or you get the message there just as well. So now he's going to answer, at least partially, we don't get the whole chaser asiyum, the end of the Maimon is missing. Why dafka lechem in hashamayim? All right, ois vov. V'in inyan amon, so the mon sheshorish hamshachosim b'chenasa oiner ka'atzmi habilti morgish. We explained that the different levels of tainug. The deepest level of tainug is such a tainug you're not aware that you have the tainug. The moment you consider it, it's already giloyim of some kind. And we explained that this is the pleasure of being alive. You do not think about the fact that you're alive, and I'm so delighting in the fact that I'm alive. It's only when you're threatened that you even think about your life. But that's the deepest tainug, is to be alive. That's bilti morgish. That's a tainug atzmi. So that's the shoyrish of the man, not the way it comes down the mata. Kefishu b'toira. So where's this tainug atzmi bilti morgish in Torah? Where's this essential tainug that's not murgish, not felt, not considered? In Torah, what level of Torah expresses this atmis tainug? Answer, hu inyan pnimis ha-Torah. It's dafke pnimis ha-Torah, lechem min hashamayim, heavenly bread, pnimis ha-Torah. V'zeh shaman hu meichel shel raivain, and that's why the bread, the man, induced hunger. What's the inyan of the hunger? And that was one of the questions of the Maimon. The simple rendering of the pasuk is VaYakhilcha VaYaancha VaYarivecha VaYakhilcha Saman. He afflicted you, he caused you hunger, and he fed you the man. It's not something else, it's all one hemshech. And the shal of the Maimon was the opposite. They were hungry before, the man satiated them. The Teretz says no, that even al pi nigla, in al pi chassidus, that the man induces a kind of hunger. Why? The fish belimad pnimis ha-Torah u'ba'ofen she'einu masik ha-mahos. And we learn now chassidus, so we're learning about the divine. We're not grasping the mahos, we're learning about godliness. We cannot see it or grasp it. The Kvishamaya ba'Maimer, like explains the Rebbe Rashab, the Maimer upon which this Maimer is based, I'm based. He says like this: Shesh Maila b'Galia shel Torah. There's a Maila in learning Nikla, and that is Shesham Musuk Hambahus Mamashin. You understand what you're talking about? The Sher, a Chamoir, a Taina, a Leuven, a Malva, or Moisef. Now, just look how the 26 is fascinating. When the Rebbe said this, he added Chakad Mashtita Hoisef Al Derech Hatzachos. I guess the Rebbe smiled, paused and smiled. That's the way it would happen often. That's how it would go. They would pause, smiling, and knew something was coming. Everybody perked up. And he says, look in the Ha'orah, Shegam ben Nigla de Torah. Now, no, anybody's, I was going to say anybody's guess, but the truth is it's nobody's guess. What exactly is humorous about this, and why the Rebbe smiled, etc. Maybe somebody knows, I don't know. But this is what he said. Shegam ben Nigla de Torah yochel li is alimad be'oifen. Even Nigla, He just said now a moment ago that the mile of Nigla said that the Barashab is that you grasp the Gashmis Dig, the Mahus Adova, a Shoyer, a Chamer, a Potter, a dollar. He says even in Nigla it can be in such a way, Shemunuch v'Shakua, Kol Kach Be'etzem HaMuskel, that he's so immersed in the concept of the halacha, he forgets about the Shoyer and Chamer. This is a very deep kind of, this is the Rogachev is learning. This is learning where mamash you're learning the inyan, and what illuminates here is the concept, is the inyan, the seichel, and he completely in his mind he's not even seeing in his mind's eye. He's not seeing the ox and the chamer. He's seeing the inyan of the ox, the inyan of the chamer. So the Rebbe is saying that this is very fascinating. But at any rate, that even in Nigla there can be such a limud where the limud is in the muskot, in the not the focus is not yedias mehusa dover of the dover gashmi, but the afshota, the ruchnis. But this is in seichel, not in a likus. Pashit in seichel. Friends, olam ha-seichel is olam ha-ruchni. The absent-minded professor that's really how a human being should be. It's nothing to do with ruchnis. Nothing to do with the likus rather. But it is a kind of ruchnius, but it's a gashmidik ruchnius. It's the concept of olam ha-seichel. So much so that in Chassidus we speak often that there's like 3 levels to the nefesh. Nefesh ha-bahamis, there's also nefesh ha-maskelis, and nefesh ha-sichli. At any rate, back to the vote of the Rebbe Rashab, that's the mile of Nigla is that you understand the concept. But Chassidus, it's elusive. Chassidus, we're talking about, that's like, Moishe that's brought in Chassidus is, I think it's brought in Chassidus, someone who's colorblind is learning about colors. So learning is red is warm and green is cool and dark. We've got hundreds of oisias, but at the end of the day, you don't know what this is. You're colorblind. So we're learning about the likus and darkness and atzilus. And oyer and kalim, we're talking about it, but what it is, we have all the right words too. But we don't have a idea of the mahus, which means the experience of it, the tangible, I'm looking for the tactile, our senses do not grasp, the 5 senses cannot grasp this. Now, on Moishe, the Rebbe Rashab adds, VaYaancha, and this is in his Maimad in Ein Beis, Misham Murgul Belimud Gemara Poskim, someone who is accustomed to learning Gemara Poskim, Kashem Afsikin Loise Limud Pnimis HaTorah, so they interrupt him, he has to learn Pnimis HaTorah. Eine Meitze B'zeh Einig, he doesn't find the Geschmack in it. Pnei She'ene Masig Mahus HaDover, because he's losing the geschmack. What are we talking about? We don't have that satisfying understanding that you've really grasped it because you can experience and touch it. It's your world. Like Yediyas HaMetzias Levad, we're learning about it. But not its mahus, not grasping its substance. Now, look at order 27. Chakad Mushlita Omar, the Rebbe said when he quoted this was a Maimah Kein Sicha. And then there was a second Maimah that Fabrang, which we're going to learn, God willing. He says, Shezuhi Dugma Muzora Modna Dugma. This is a strange illustration that the Rebbe Rashab is saying. And then they tell us, go look at the Sicha after the Maimah. So I'll read it to you in translation, what the Rebbe said after the Maimah. Just in translate long or translate it. So this is in the Hemshech Ayin Beis, but it's from Ayin Hey. Ayin Beis is Hemshech of a few years. So he says like this. So we spoke about it in the Maimah, which I'm just learning now. This is the next Sicha. About the man, the way it is in Torah. What is it? It's Pnimius HaTorah. We're not finishing it. We did actually. So that's what induces this hunger, because it leaves us like longing, and there's an element of dissatisfaction that we don't really see and grasp the mahus. Yeah, so he says there, now quote, we just quoted now, that there's a mile in Nigla that you grasp the mahus, and therefore someone who's accustomed to learning Gemara and Poskim, when he's interrupted, we interrupt him, and to learn Pnimis HaTorah, he doesn't find Einik because he doesn't grasp of the Mahus, only the Metzias. End the quote. The Rebbe asks, how could the Rebbe Rashab say this? Chazal said that, right, the animals that came into the teva, so they described ha-behema she'inena tahira, the animal which is not pure, rather than saying behema tameya. The famous Gemara, because even speaking disparagingly about a behema tameya, the pasuk will not do. Especially talking about a yid who's what? He's a murgul belimit Gemara paskim. Talking about yid as a lamdan. How you talking? The Rebbe says that in the Maimach Sidis, Pnimius HaTorah, listen to this question. Pnimius HaTorah is said by a Nasi Yisrael in public. Like all of these levels to this. Privately, no, but in public. He should speak in a Maimer, which is for Klal Yisrael. They should speak Begenusi of a Yid, disparagingly of a Jew who's accustomed to learn Gemara Poskim. And he says that when you interrupt him to learn Pnimius HaTorah, he doesn't find Tainuk. What's he saying? One, that he's a fellow that if he wouldn't interrupt me, he wouldn't learn Pnimius HaTorah. So we have to get involved in his balabatischkeit, and we've got to stop him and tell him, Harazachaim, now you got to put away the Gemara and learn Chassidus. This is what he's implying here. This is such a negative description of a Yid. And two, okay, he's maskenbird and he learns, he doesn't have a Gishmak. This is an Amayim Chassidus. Why would the Rebbe Rashab do that? The Rebbe answers, but the Indian is that there could be such a Metzias. It could be, this is the reality, and therefore, the Rebbe Rashab, Chassidus has to make sure that a person shouldn't feel dejected. He has a Gishmak and Nigla, and he's learning Chassidus and upset. So we tell him, don't be crestfallen, don't be dejected, your spirit shouldn't. Because Limidat Torah is take, we're acknowledging. You're not masik the mahos, it's only the mitzias. So it's not a pella that you're not going to have a gishmak in it. But however, that's the beginning of the Scholas Alimud. But if you will devote yourself the way it should be, and you'll be in a way of achil, of eating, that you'll chew it and you will digest it, tzukayin. In other words, very hard of it to understand it. And take the Torah inwards like food until it becomes literally one's blood and flesh. It becomes one with the Torah until it becomes his Torah. And this is required. In order to do that, he has to have the bittul of Naisa before Nishma and Avodas Tefillah. Then you'll have like the man. What was the man? Still induced this hunger, but it became absorbed within his innards and became something hidden from the eye. I'm just translating. Something Davar HaSamim in the ayin is blessed because it's concealed. Therefore, it carries this great blessing, and it becomes blessed in his inwards and becomes satisfied. And the end, he does have an oinig, a delight in the gishmak, in the lip of Pnimius HaTorah. And the gishmak is not only because he's doing a mitzvah, he's learning Pnimius HaTorah, but the actual learning, the chachmosay v'ritzonesh HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He has a gishmak in that, and especially because he's learning Pnimius HaTorah. On the contrary, therein he'll find his main tainug in Limud HaTorah. Because here's where the chachmosay v'ritzonesh HaKadosh Baruch Hu is transparently manifest. And he feels this gishmak. Pnimius Abba is bound up with Pnimius Atik, as explained in Kabbalah. True, it's fully revealed when Mashiach comes, but already it's revealed in the limud of Chassidus and Pnimius HaTorah, even now. Till we come to the matzav of Yisrael v'Raisa Kutshabricha Kol Achad. I'm not going to say names, but it was on the internet. I have to say I didn't watch the whole thing, but I just watched the beginning of it. So a very great contemporary Hasidic leader, emerging star, Anyway, so he's asked, he's sitting there, and they're posing, he was visiting, I think, America. And from other yeshivas and other chassidus, big crowd, and they're asking him that some Bachim is saying you don't have a geschmack in learning. So what's the eitzah? What's the eitzah? So he started, I didn't watch the whole thing, but maybe he says at the end, I don't know. But he was saying that, which is true, that you should emphasize that which you do enjoy, those subjects that you do enjoy, and then it'll come to a gishmak in other subjects. But it seemed to me that the question was they have no gishmak in any subject particularly. So, what's the answer? So I hope he said it at the end, but at the end of the day is what's the gishmak? If we understand and appreciate that this is the Eibishter's Torah, and that we have the great privilege of internalizing the words of Hashem Mamish. And moreover, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yoshev v'Koyre Kenegdo, as we say these words, the Eibishter says them with us. And the Eibishter himself has such tainug and pleasure that we are learning his Torah and bringing him into our minds and hearts. So thinking deeply and learning and understanding that engenders a tainug. Okay, let's continue. So that's why, so the learning Pnimis HaTorah engenders what? A rive and a hunger. Because we don't understand the mahus, only the metzias about it, but not its substance. However, the truth is, just learning on this level as we do, the mitzias of Pnimis HaTorah Sheyedias Elikus, learning about godliness, Gov Malosa, there's tremendous milah to this limud. Notwithstanding, we don't have Yedias HaMahos, V'gam B'vila Leiv Sholem, and learning Chassidus leads to stirring the heart. The pasuk says they know Hashem and serve Him with a complete heart. It starts with Yedias Hashem. Aval kivin sheina musik hamahos. But since at the end of the day we don't grasp the mahos, lachen nemar al zeh VaYarivecha. And so therefore this induces this hunger, this longing, this element of not being satisfied, of a longing. Therefore, of a longing to know what we're learning, to know the mahus of it. So that's why the pasuk says, "Laman hadiachal kiloi lalechem." So the Eibishter fed us what? He fed us lechem minach shamayim in order to teach us that not by bread alone does a person live. And we asked the question, so it's also bread, and why couldn't we get this from lechem min haaretz too? This message. That's because the hinei ike b'chinas lechem or lechem min haaretz. Ordinary lechem is lechem min haaretz shezeh b'chinas hasal gemamish. So that's understanding, that's nigla. Ach gam b'chinas einige atzmi haba b'murgish hu b'chinas lechem. So even we said before that the manna comes down as physical manna, and they did have a taste. So this is a tainug hamurgish, but it's rooted in the tainug atzmi. But the tainug atzmi is no longer expressed because the tainug atzmi is not about something else. It's a central tainug, and there's the tainug in the taste of the food. So bread is a tainug murgish. There is a taste. Now he's saying now, Stam lechem means some kind of experience, some kind of taste. The tainug atzmi is so deep again, that it's beyond considering it. You're not aware of it. When a person is engaged to the core of his essence, he's not even aware of it. That's why, by the way, seeing, looking is such a very powerful thing, but we look at, because you see when a person looks at something, he's transfixed. It unlocks the etzem. He's not aware of his surroundings, much more than hearing something or touching something, looking. He says, I just looked, but it's very, very deep. That's somewhat of an expression of bilti murgish. He's just completely one with what he's looking at and not even considering the pleasure of it. That's how deep the pleasure is. But bread is already a tainig murgish. So we're missing the end of the mind here. So here the Eibush is getting us to let us know. Namely, by giving the mon idea, that's where we got the knowledge. In the mon, we are pointed to the true tainug, bilti murgish, the Eibush is tainug yanas that touches the essence of our soul. He's not masbir. What's the message we get? The message we're being connected to. The level is the moitzi pi Hashem. That which issues from the mouth of Hashem. What level is this? Moitzi pi Hashem hu moker pi Hashem. This is the source of the word of Hashem. He brings forth water higher than the water itself. This is Pnimius oinok ha'elyon, the real tainuk atzmi b'chinas pnimius atik shenimshach al deyamon. We're missing the end because then it comes down like bread, so it's not exactly laid out for us. But what is he saying? Why are we getting the message only from the mana? Because the mana dafke expresses the tainuk atzmi. The Eibishter's, in simple words, the Eibishter's essential choice in us, which means that every detail of our lives is everything to him. That's why one day cannot give to the next, etc. That's what the mana expresses. So every Shabbos, all of Ishtalshalis is elevated. There's no hashpah at all. Not because it seems it comes out that on Shabbos the tainik atzmi mamish, because during the week it comes down as bread, so it's a tainik murgish. It's somewhat corrupted. It's come down into actual bread, and we taste it and eat it. But on Shabbos, that's the true inyan of man. The true inyan of man is Shabbos. There's no hashpah, there's no experience, no measurable experience, not a tainuk murgish. It's the tainuk atzmi. It's arusa del el mitzad atzma. We don't create Shabbos. Hashem gives Shabbos. And what is Shabbos? Shabbos is a taste of. Hashem says, I have chosen you. You are everything. Every detail in your life is everything. That's what Shabbos is. It's the tainuk atzmi, mamish being one with the Eibush. And that's why Shalashudas is the ultimate and pinnacle of Shabbos. And that's why in Chabad we don't eat anymore. Because eating already is a tainuk murgish. It's come down to some level of seichel, some level of experience, some level of consideration. Being mamish, one with the Eibishter, experiencing his choice, raivin de raivin, his delight of delight in the Yid, that's in the culmination of Shabbos. Higher, therefore, than any expression, any taste at all. The taste is already something we were considering, something external from the essential self. It's I am a Yid revealed in the deepest way, and therefore every aspect of my life is precious to the Eibishter, and he delights in it, and it's everything to him. And that then is drawn down during the week, and each day is permeated with this deep truth, that it all makes a difference, and all is everything, and I matter, and I count, and every detail of my life counts. That's what's translated in each day of the week, each day independently, this day, and the next day, and the next day, each detail on its own. Somewhat clear, this l'chayra seems to be the message of the Maimon. So I'll just read to you what he says at the overview, and tomorrow Be'ez Hashem will start the second Maimon, which is Muger. Okay, just reading to you, the Ikar Amshach of the man, Lamaila was on Shabbos, Dafke, because that's when the Midas is sent to Bina, and then he said not even just Bina, Sheresh of Bina, which is that Pinimi is Einiga Elyon, and that's where the man comes. Nonetheless, the Amshacha is every day, not on Shabbos, because on Shabbos, there's no Yerida. On the contrary, everything is sensed to touch and experience Hashem's essential tainuk. And that's why he came down every day, and not one day for an extended period, because each day conveys what it received from the Einik HaElyon. Again, each day is complete, each moment is absolute and everything. Whereas the other ashpois, which are not expressive of Hashem's tainug, the other ashpois are chitzonis, are all means for an end. They come through the whole process of ishtalshus, as we explained, through malchus. There's a give and take, and there's a borrowing and a lending and integration, and it's like building the building. The binya, the dira, needs all of these components to integrate before the dira is made. But at the end, every detail is expressive of the soulmates that live there, in essence equally, using the mashal of a dira. So all of ashpois are the means for an end. But mana is not the means. That's the tainug that Hashem delights in us. And then, even though the shoresh is higher than zman, so it should have come down, not limited to specific times. The answer again, since it's a matana, not through avodah v'yigia, therefore it's not bound to ishtalshelus at all, and therefore it's dvarim b'yoyim, as we attempted to explain. And this is the final is we just learned now, VaYaancha, VaYarivecha, that the man induces this hunger, and that's pnimis ha'torah, with its own yediyas and mitzias and itasagas and mahus. And this teaches us kiloy alechem, because in the man dafka was the yediyah that it's not enough to have asaga, but we have to know that it's all the source of it all is moitze pi Hashem, which he explains to be the pnimius einiga elyon. That's what it's all about. Hashem's delight in us. That's the core essence of all of existence, and that's what's revealed dafke in the mana mina shamayim, and especially on Shabbos where there's no hashpah at all, the pure tainug. That seems to be b'chlolos the inyan. Yeah. Okay, friends. Today's story.